And now we did it. Wow, that was the first time we tried a live edit. Big Mike. The studio is getting a little bit more technological than we like. Episode 10. Welcome, Eric. Welcome to the biggest podcast studio that you've ever been to.
Thank you
This is
so
a big
much.
show.
This is beautiful, man. And I don't even mean that ironically. This is very nice. I'm comfortable in here. Got a fan over here.
It's called the fire trap because there's wires everywhere.
Yeah, this is we're not making it out of here
no,
alive.
like one spark and
That's
this whole
for sure.
845 3rd Avenue is going down.
That's right. Good thing you don't know any firemen, do you? 'Cause if they walked in here, that'd be
yeah, this is definitely not up to code for sure.
Definitely not.
But like when you're next to like a law office and accountant, I don't think anyone's gonna pull the alarm on us here.
Yeah, right.
But welcome back into town. So you're
Thank you, man. Good to see you, Jiggy.
I know.
I apologize that I was a little late.
Hey, you said you had a story.
I'm the worst New Yorker of all time because I'm from Staten Island, which is very arguably not a part of New York. A lot of people like to say
The black sheep of the boroughs.
And I have no idea how to take the subway. I got off at the wrong stop twice. That's right.
You didn't take this ferry over, did you?
No. So I took the express bus in, but I got lunch with a friend of mine, and then I left him. I had plenty of time. I get on the subway. I look at my iPhone. I'm like, boom. First of all, I couldn't even find where to get in the subway. Finally found that. Got on the right train. Then I guess when you like lose service in between stops, I guess my like GPS got messed up. I was like, oh shit, I'm here. Ran out, and then my iPhone readjusted. I was like 10 stops away. So I had to get back on the train. Then it got off at the wrong stop. I had to walk here.
You're on the Roosevelt Island tram.
I'm the worst. Every time I took the subway before when I was younger, like going to open mics and stuff, I'd always end up in Brooklyn. I never knew what I was doing.
Well, the train is like super intimidating for people who haven't been here before. It took me about a year to figure it out. And then I would only take the lines that I felt comfortable with. Like I would take anytime, because when you come in, you're looking at, okay, there's a 4, 5, 6 train, but it's also the green line. But I would only take the 6. I didn't know if the 4 or 5 would go to the right spots. It's very intimidating.
And being from Staten Island, I never, because everybody has a car. So whenever I'd come here, do you know what the express bus is? So we call it. It's like a nice. It's like a nice bus that it looks like kind of like baseball teams take.
Yeah.
For like trips. So I just take that. I'm not dealing with anything. I just get on a nice bus and I'm in the city. So when I'm like in this, I have to stay around the city. That's when I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused.
I will say on the reverse of that, the one time, it might have been when I did that show with you down in Staten Island.
Okay.
And I had to take the bus down to Staten Island, which I've never done before. And
Yeah.
as someone who lives in Manhattan,
Good luck with that.
completely different experience.
There's no numbered streets.
No, I get to the, I'm like, where are we going? And so much more expensive. I remember I tried to swipe my card or pay for it, and they're like, it's $17. I'm like, where are we going? We're going to Atlantic City? It's like completely different. You get in this big bus, and then you're just on the bus for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's an hour, at least an hour. That's right.
In traffic too. I remember sitting on the. I'm like, I hope I'm going to the right place, and then they just let you off on the side of the road, like at an Italian restaurant.
That's right. They always let you off at an Italian restaurant.
That's
no matter
like
where
part
in
of it.
Staten Island you're in, it just there you go. Here's an Italian restaurant, buddy. Get off.
Yeah, we're here we're at Mama Dullo's.
Anyway, I made it, so I'm happy to be here. It's good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you,
What's
man.
going on, man?
Are you? You're still in Austin, yeah?
I'm still in Austin, Texas. That's right. Yes. I like it a lot. I got married last year, so we're potentially looking at. I'll probably be moving to the East Coast within like a year
Coming back
or two.
east, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot. Big Italian family. So like when I start to get her pregnant, I'll probably want to be around my family more, and I think I want to just get up in New York a little bit more and just be more involved in the comedians here. I'm starting to make a lot of friends, and then it's like I got to go back to Texas, which is like in the middle of nowhere. It worked out for where my career was at one point. But now I feel like it's maybe time to leave.
When I lived in Orlando, I remember people would be like, "Oh, you live in Orlando? You must go to Disney World every day." And I feel like the comedy equivalent to that in Austin is like, "Oh man, you live in Austin? What are you friends with Joe Rogan?"
Absolutely.
Every single person, right?
That's right. What's funny is my first show there, I met him. He was in the green room.
It's like, and then
It's kind of true. Yeah. So he just opened his place. He just opened his comedy place. But for a while, they were operating out of this place called the Vulcan Gas Company. I was good friends with everybody there. It was a great time. I get to hop on shows whenever I want. Yeah, it's just a personal thing. It has nothing against Austin. I love Austin. It's super cheap to live there. It's just, getting to a point where I'm not so much like a starving artist to where it's like I got to live where it's like cheap. It's more, now it's like, all right, where is ideal? Where would I like to live for the rest of my life? I think we're like done moving because like, LA, then we moved to Austin, and I'm in New York so often that You know, but yeah, there is a big. Everybody thinks that like you're supposed to be friends with Joe Rogan, and like I just feel like that's not who I am. I'm not gonna like whenever I saw him, I'm not gonna be like, hey Joe, you know I'm a comedian, right? You want to be friends?
You come up with
I'm just not that guy. I can't do it. There's a lot of guys trying to give him like DMT, and I'm just like, I'm not that kind of guy. I think Joe Rogan would hate my guts. By the way, look at how I'm dressed. I don't know anything about elk meat. I don't like MMA. I have hair, so everything I think.
He's a little guy too.
Is he?
Well,
he was. I'm fucking around. He was sweet. He was nice to me. It was two interactions I had with him. I'm not like we're friends. But no.
I think there's something. It's coming over me recently too. Of like I'm in my 30s and like I'm like, man, I don't know. Like getting the inkling to kind of like go home. I don't know.
Where's home for you?
I grew
Boston,
up outside
right?
of Boston, so like there's more times, and I don't know if it's like I have two grandmothers who are still alive, and like so the longer I go without seeing them,
of course,
you feel like a certain way, and I think it's kind of natural. Like you spend your 20s moving away from and establishing your own thing, and I think it's kind of natural to be like, well, I don't know, what are my roots? What's
100%. There was I heard this funny. Someone had a great tweet. I apologize if the comedian, he's not going to hear this, but it was a comedian that said like, I moved back to Boston after 20 years in LA, and it felt so refreshing to meet a little boy named John. Because like, and that's the thing too, is like I do. What do they say? You get more like, I don't know, maybe conservative as you get older. Not really political, but like in terms of like how you live your life. When you are around, there is a nice slow pace. Like when I'm around my friends who live in like cities, they don't realize that like I'm a boring guy as it is. So like I'm 33 and half of my friends are married with kids. And they're doing that thing, and I'm not really there yet. And then the other half are just high playing Fortnite, and I don't belong there either. So I'm just like, my friends are always like, "What are we doing after this?"
Yeah,
we go out to a birthday dinner. Like, "Oh, what are we doing now?" I'm like, "We did it already.
It's done."
That we did the dinner. I'm not going to a bar after this. Are you nuts? So like, yeah, it's that time of your life where you start to see the attractiveness of just like slowing down and maybe just like, I don't know, talking to the mailman.
And it's fun to watch, to see from one link away all your friends doing what they end up doing. And I've seen some of my friends who like when I graduated college who had babies when they were like 22, married, happy, and I see them have kids. Like their kids now are like fucking real people.
That's wild.
They're like they're playing Little League but like hitting the ball.
Yeah.
And then I have other friends like my friend DJ PJ who comes on this show who's like literally still playing beer pong and getting excited about it. Like he gets excited to play and to win.
I have a whole beef with beer pong. I really do. I wasn't like, my friends were just like, I always wanted to like be hanging out with each other and like at a party vibe, kind of talking to girls or whatever. And then my friends they would act like they're going to a tournament. It's like, is this a Friday night where we're trying to like meet girls, or should you guys be wearing matching jerseys? What are we doing here?
When you played beer pong, I was watching, what movie I was watching? Some, like a college movie the other day. It was 21 or 22 Jump Street. And they were playing beer pong with paddles and like hitting the paddles with the ball.
Huh?
I've never seen this, but in a lot of movies, they depict beer pong as like ping pong. Like you hit the ball with the paddle, and then you try to get the ball into the cup.
Hollywood always does it weird.
That's always a complete miss.
Something's always off. There's always like these aren't real people. Like why can't the kids in movies be 17? Why do they have to be seniors in high school and be 28 years old?
Yeah.
Like I think Stacey Dash in Clueless was like almost 30. I mean, she looks incredible. She could pass for it, but it's just like, I don't know, that it built insecurity in me as a kid. You know what I mean? I felt like I should have been older or bigger at 16. I looked like I was 6. It was like
even casting. I like Stranger Things. Like I like the series Stranger Things, but now, the innocence of the innocence of the first season is completely lost. Like you don't have the same connection to the kids when they're like 23.
Yeah,
and they're they're getting up there.
They're getting up there. Their agents are getting them to be more, now they're like on the cover of Vogue.
Yeah, they're too cool.
Yeah, that show is funny for me because I love everything but the monsters. I like just the arcades, the nostalgia.
The nostalgia.
I don't give a shit about a shadow monster. It's hard for me to believe that. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to, you know.
The less the CGI, the better. And
yeah,
I'm totally cool with, what was it, season 2 when they were just in the mall? I'm like, just stay in the mall.
I think the whole show should just have been getting jobs. Like basically, I wanted it to be Fast Times or Ridgemont High.
They don't get the job. They're like, this is some Stranger Things.
Yeah. Get rid of the monsters, because it's hard for me to. I'm nothing against sci-fi, but I guess I kind of do. It's just hard for me to like believe that.
The suspension of disbelief in Stranger Things, it really ramped up. In the last season, they're like, you know, what's his the dad's name? He gets out of a Russian prison and steals a helicopter and goes
and the monster's talking to you now.
It's too much, man.
The monster's like super 80s cliches, like, what did you think of Raiders of the Lost Ark? So we get it. You're in the 80s. The Ghostbusters costumes.
I think the budget is just too much, man. They don't know what to do with
it.
They're
making each season is 7 years in between, right? Like the last season 2 was what, 2017?
Took a while. Yeah, they took a big COVID break,
or
obviously.
3, whatever.
But they got like so much money. You know, television series, I think in general, you know, when like Avatar comes out, within the conversation of Avatar is like, this movie cost $150 million to make. But you never hear about that with television shows. But shows like Stranger Things cost like $50 million an episode.
They said that, yeah. What is it? I think it was 30.
That's
an
incredible.
Episode. Yeah,
that's a lot of money,
wild.
man.
Yeah. And in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
So what does that mean? I mean, that would have been that's a LA 200 easy.
Oh, easy, yeah. But yeah, that show is a lot of these shows on Netflix, they just get these balloon budgets, but I feel like that's changing a little bit. I feel like they're ramping down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really watch a lot of stuff. What if I?
You do or you don't?
I don't really. I really don't. My wife and I just started watching Mad Men, which is about 20 years too late. But
20, yeah.
It's a fantastic show. Yeah.
It's interesting when your girl sends you a show that you know how long it is. Like my wife just hit me up to be like, "Do you want to start Gilmore Girls?" I'm like, from when? And she goes, season 1, episode 1.
How many seasons are there?
Too many. You know, like, you know exactly what you're getting into. And then I looked up the IMDb. I'm like, there's 145 episodes of this. That's a lot of Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls?
Girls love Gilmore Girls.
I don't know if I would agree to watch that. Like, she's watching. My wife is like, my wife started watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Oh.
And I'm like, babe, you made it. You were 30 years old. You survived not one episode. It's like starting to smoke in your 40s. It's like you made it through. You survived this trend. It's already over. Now you're gonna get sucked into like you made it. You made it out of Staten Island without being a fan of this show, and now you're watching it. So I can't watch that with her. So I would give the Gilmore Girls.
Real Housewives is what she watches. My wife watches when I'm on the road. And then I get back and she becomes a little bit worse. She's like, wants more stuff. She goes, why don't we have a penthouse on the Upper East Side? I'm like, what?
Why is it on toilet marble? This is ridiculous.
We have 4 dogs. Why don't we have 4 more animals?
Yeah.
But yeah, like we try to like have middle ground on stuff, but she doesn't watch any like sports. So I'm like constantly, I have to go into these dramas.
I have a weird relationship with my wife. It's very unique where I'm never not with her. I don't know if that's unnatural.
She goes on the road with you?
All the time. This is the longest I've been away from her for about 2 years.
That's
Literally.
good.
It's great. I mean, it might be a problem. I mean, I don't know. I love hanging out with her. When stand-up started to go well for me, I was like begging her to like basically stop her job. She was like working in LA, and she left it right before the pandemic. So I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But then ever since then, like it's just better to have her on the road with me. She's like also like part like my assistant. She's really good at everything. So having her was just
there's gotta be some assistant issues with that though.
No, there really. I mean,
like you're just like,
really
baby,
isn't.
I don't want this flight goes into JFK.
No, I book all the flights. I book all the flights. She's hotel. She's such a good like manager too. Like I have like music in my act when I end with like, have you seen? I remember. And like if there's like an issue with the sound person, she's just like, I mean, why is like nobody like? She's very good at like. Really good at getting. She's she's really good. So like, yeah, my friends will ask me. Like my friend Joe recently asked me something, and I'm like, I'm never not with Leanna. He's like, you know when you're like alone. I'm like, I can't think of the last. I had to like pray for her like going to bachelorette weekend to get to watch porn or something. You know, it's not often that I'm away from her. So she's always with me, and we kind of like it. I do see it from like as an outside perspective of people listening to this, like what a loser, eye roll. You need your own life, which I totally understand. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, no, you're wrong. I get it. But for us, it's like hard to get. But now that she has, like, I wish she had more shows, and I had a show, but we're always watching things together, which could be a problem. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I think it's a great thing.
She's great too. Like when I'm a big
I think it's good to have.
I'm a big Met fan. So when the Mets are on, I'm never like, I'm like, baby, mind if I watch? She's like, yeah, no. I'm like, you want to watch something in the other room? She's like, no, I like the Mets. So she just hangs with me, and we kind of always watch the same thing.
I think it's good to know. Having someone that you trust, obviously, on the road is really important, huge. And especially if they, it sounds like she has like a part of the team, which
1,000,000%, yeah.
And I think that makes a huge difference too.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It's the best. Yeah, being alone is tough, and yeah, I feel like I'm always like on vacation with her. We're always like in a cool place, enjoying a nice restaurant. I'm very, very lucky. I know that not everybody has this like setup, but it'll change, especially when we have children. Like that's kind of why I think that like we were talking about earlier, going back to where she's comfortable with friends and family, and that way I can just disappear for like either a month or weekends at a time, and she's but I don't know. I think you could travel with kids for a little while until they got to go to school. I didn't go to preschool.
We talk about this all the time. We have now a vacation list set up into pre and post baby, which is a very interesting list. And it's literally broke down to, she'll come back to me and be like, well, can you go to Bermuda with a kid? And I'll be like, yeah, off the list. So like that's not right now. So we just booked a trip to Japan. Like anything that's too long of a flight or is like
you know what? Not only is that a good idea, but it's very considerate of the other people on the plane. Gotta say,
yeah, no long flights.
You need to get like some sort of reward or cash prize. That's pretty freaking considerate.
But the times that I want to just like bang down, or maybe I want to go splash around or something and go on a few days down to like the Caribbean or something, not even possible until post baby.
Yeah, who wants that? That's a weird place to bring a child. A Caribbean getaway where like they got to be covered with
sand?
Lotion. No, yeah, but like they can't be getting like sunburned and stuff, right? Like. Well, is that a good place for?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't travel with their kid right off the bat. Probably takes a couple of years.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to take
We're going to Italy this summer. So
have you been before?
No, first time.
It's amazing.
I'm very excited. Yeah,
it's amazing.
And it's funny telling people that I'm Italian.
Do you speak Italian?
No. That's why it's funny when people are like, yeah, I'm Italian. It's like, really?
But you got
say something in Italian. Well, gabagool.
Fucking hey.
Yeah, fucking
I took Italian in high school, remembered nothing.
So did I. I took Italian for 3 years in high school, and then every year for college, I took it as an elective. I still am 12 to 16 credits short. I was in college for on and off for like 8 years. Took Italian every time to try and get like an advanced, like 2, 4, 3 more credits. Didn't retain any of it. I can say I like basketball. That's pretty much it.
Every time I took like an exam, I was always at elementary level. It was like, I like baseball. I like to eat. Yep. Food good.
I only liked when like you would take. Did you do the tests when you'd have to take like the test listening?
No. What do you mean?
You go to like a computer room and you have to take a test where you have to listen to it.
So I'd be fucking out on that.
Sbaglialo. Spagiallo.
And I'm like, I don't know what that means. Look to the girl next to me. She's putting like, I don't know, dessert. So I'm like, all right, dessert.
Sounds like the guy's got a smudge of some sort.
He would it was the same guy. No matter what.
Giallo. Lunedì.
It was always like, I don't know. I did terrible. I wish I could speak it. Obviously, it's like, I feel like a disgrace to my ancestors, but.
Even if you did understand it, it's really hard over there because everything is times 5. Speed-wise, they're just rattling off, and you never really learn the slang. Like even if you learned English and you came to New York, I'm sure you'd be lost. Like everyone have to slow down.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to learn English and hearing the shit that we say.
When we got off the plane in Rome, and people are just screaming at each other.
Roma.
They were screaming at each other?
Oh, everyone is. And like you pick one taxi or another, and like whatever taxi you pick, they're all screaming at each other.
I think it's gonna be fun.
But it's an amazing place. What cities are you gonna see?
A lot. We're doing too much. Rome, Tuscany, Capri, Venice. There's probably more. I don't remember. Positano.
Do a cooking class when you're over there.
Oh yeah, I think she booked that already somewhere. I don't know where.
It's 1,000,000% worth it.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm.
That was the highlight.
How many times have you been?
I think 3 now.
Wow.
But it's a
jiggy.
A jiggy. Get this guy a fucking pasta, please. The cooking class I took over there, I still think about it.
Really?
It's just magical. I took it at this woman's house, and I went on the Fringe season. I was by myself. This was before I met my wife. I went by myself to this. It was in Tuscany, and it was on the Fringe season in November. So I book. It's like an Airbnb cooking school. So you stay there and you cook,
Holy
and
shit.
no one else booked in. So it was just me and this old Italian
What
woman.
was her name?
I forget.
Please tell me it was like Pina or something.
It was some. It was. She had a public access cooking show in Italy.
Oh my God!
And she had truffles in the backyard. It was unbelievable.
That's incredible.
She sends me. I get there the first night, and she's like, "If you want to go eat something, there's one restaurant, and there's only one restaurant in the town." I walk there, beautiful. Like there's no light pollution at all. I'm walking through, just this unbelievable thing. I show up to this restaurant. I order pizza. They don't cut the pizza there, by the way. Like you get a whole pizza, you have to fork and knife it. They don't cut it into slices.
Where was this?
In Tuscany.
Okay.
In Rome, they do square slices, but like in general, you order like a Neapolitan style pie,
Neapolitan style,
and they don't slice it, which is an interesting thing. So I'm sitting there with my fork and knife, I'm eating the pizza, and the restaurant was doing. It was like a men's club of Italy meeting. So it's just 85 old Italian guys all standing up screaming at each other. I'm like literally it was almost like the record stopped. They see me in the corner with my pizza. It was hysterical.
Oh man, that's incredible.
But the best thing to be at the fly on the wall ever.
I couldn't even imagine.
I just stood there and they're looking at me like, is this guy gonna go? And I'm like, fucking absolutely
it's
not.
Like Pinocchio or something.
Yeah,
that's incredible, man.
It's great. But you guys will love it. I mean, it's the best walking around in the world. It's just getting lost anywhere.
She basically booked the whole thing, but everywhere she sent me, and like she was telling me like, oh, pick a hotel. I would like look around it. I'm just like, it all looks like paradise. Like I don't know if like I don't know if I'm biased because everyone in my family is always, we always talk so highly of Italy, but everybody does, I guess. Everybody loves that place, right? I feel like it's everybody.
And even the American brands in Italy seem more regal and prestigious. I stayed at like a Holiday Inn in Tuscany. It was
Holiday Inn.
The Holiday Inn Palazzo di Prinzo. And I'm like, what? It was like, but it's a Holiday Inn.
I want to get McDonald's there. I just want to.
Yeah.
I know that it's like.
I think you can get booze at. You can like drink at them.
I just have to. I was in Toronto recently and I was like, I'm gonna get because they had like what they have. It's some
poutine.
Sort of, yeah,
they do
had something
poutine
like
there.
that. I also heard that like the ingredients aren't as bad. Maybe not in Canada, but I think in Italy maybe or in Europe, like they ban like some of the chemicals they put here. I don't know. I just have to try it in a different country.
Well, you forget that like McDonald's in other countries, they're mimicking America. So people don't. There's not like homeless people hanging around McDonald's. Like it's like a.
They have it there as like
it's like
art.
A thing. It's like kind
they
of
hire
nice.
homeless guys to make it look like America.
Well, whenever it says like McCafe, it's like really kind of like a cafe. There's like real. It's like nice.
Oh wow, really? Okay.
It's the best McDonald's experience you'll ever have.
No, exactly. So people, I know, you went to McDonald's, and it's like, well, yeah, just one meal. I have to try it.
Yeah, and it's like I remember my takeaways from going to McDonald's in other countries. It was like there's like good-looking women working there. People are like hanging out.
Oh man,
it's a really nice experience.
I know. I'm excited, man. I hope that I hope I can keep up and at least understand something people are saying, but I probably won't.
And congrats on the marriage. I think we got married pretty close.
Thank you.
September. I was September 25th.
October
last year.
15th.
Yeah, so right.
Wow, congrats,
marriage
man.
neighbors, and not surprised you went with the gold ring.
Went with gold.
Yeah, I went traditional.
Yeah, I was surprised I was even allowed to get one.
A ring?
Yeah, most guys they're allowed to get a silicone.
Oh, fuck
rubber
that.
band.
I was 100% gonna get something.
Do you know what I'm getting? I actually got it too. Well, this will further people thinking I'm gay. I'm gonna get a diamond band. Like
I don't think that's gay.
Basically, what we're not. See, men. I find it interesting. I look at my Instagram comments sometimes. Like, it's interesting. What makes you gay these days? I did a video one time, and a guy was like, "Says the guy wearing a beanie." And I was like, "Beanies are gay now."
Beanies are so gay.
Beanies are gay now. Now I am in a relationship with a man because I'm my head was cold. So now that's interesting. But yeah, just want like typical like our whole wedding. We wanted to like feel like it was from like 1989. We got like an old tiered cake. We got a stretch white limo. You never see limos anymore.
You don't see that
They're
anymore.
hard to get. It was old. It was shitty. It wasn't even like a nice one. Like it was hard to find. I originally wanted to get like a 57 Chevy Bel Air. I love that car. I wanted to drive it.
I would have to see it. What's a Chevy Bel Air?
It's like whatever like you're thinking of in a 1950s car.
Like it has like
it has the fins in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. A 57 Chevy Bel Air is like I'm not even like a car guy. I'm not even a classic car guy. It's just like beautiful. It's just like the perfect looking car. But these old guys, it is like trying to look at that thing.
Oh, that thing's sick.
Yeah, I was trying to get a convertible too, which is just like to find one that you can rent, really hard. To find one you can rent and the renter is allowed to drive, non-existent.
Well, it's hard because I think that you have to have special licenses to drive cars like that now, don't you? Or like
I don't think
car
so.
license?
No, these guys are just super, super. I don't want to say selfish with them because it's like their life's work. A lot of them, there's only I'm allowed to drive it, so they wouldn't. I'm like, dude, I'll give you name a price. Only I drive it. They'll drive them with like their chauffeurs or whatever. Like they'll chauffeur me.
You could have got that, but you'd have to be in the back seat.
Correct.
You couldn't drive it.
And I wanted to drive it for the day. And I'm like, yo, it's gonna be. We got married on Staten Island, which was nice. The church and the venue was on Staten Island, which none of my friends do. None of my siblings did. It's always like half on Staten Island, half in Brooklyn or Jersey or something. So I was like, I'm gonna be putting 6 miles on this thing, but I was like, I'll take out $1 million insurance plan. Nobody would let me do them. So I was like, all right, the next best thing, let's try to make it look like, we got a cake topper from the year she was born, I think. Like I was trying to go for like an old school vibe. So I feel like the ring kind of went with that.
And I just dug this out of my grandmother gave, it was her father's diamond pinky ring from like the 20s or 30s.
Oh man!
Man, I would have brought it. I would have showed you.
You gotta
But
put that on and slap somebody with it.
Oh, it's like great. And my wife's like, "What are you gonna do with that?" I'm like, "Go to the casino. What do you think I'm gonna do?
Course, yeah.
Rolling dice with the pinky ring? Are you kidding me?"
You're gonna every drink you're gonna have like this now. Just drinking like this.
I just saw a guy outside. It's amazing how things change, like fashion changes or whatever. But I saw a guy outside with like the full blown like 1940s like gentleman's hat,
like a fedora or like
a fedora,
or like a newspaper.
No, like a fedora, like a gentleman in like the 1940s. And then you look, if you Google 1940s New York, it's every single person in New York wore that hat. Now I saw a guy walking out of McDonald's in the hat. I'm like, this guy's fucked up. Like that you don't see that.
Being in Manhattan is interesting. People dress really interesting here. And speaking of Mad Men before, like I do miss everything's sort of matched. You ever notice like the way the guys dressed, the way the ladies dressed, like, oh, look at that
those
thing.
hats.
Come on, man. That is gorgeous. But like if you wear one of those now, it's like, look at this hipster weirdo.
Look, Mike,
let's throw eggs at him.
I think if you just Google like 1940s New York and see if you can get like a crowd of people, the one thing you don't see, which is so funny, is you don't see the slob. Like a slobby guy just didn't exist.
That's
you see
right.
the guy?
They killed him if they were slobby.
Like that guy right there on the far left is probably as slobby as you get, and he's in a full suit.
That's right.
But he's got the news guy hat, not the other type of hat.
I think the world was in black and white back then too.
Yeah, they definitely didn't have.
Didn't have color. First of all, this is probably like in August too. By the way, think about that.
Full wool suits,
6-piece suit. They got
This is outside of like Penn Station, 1940 something.
Dude,
you can't find one person who doesn't look put together. Look at this. This guy's wearing 19 articles. He's even carrying another article on his arm.
I wish that people dress like this. I really do. I really do.
It's a whole nother level. And he's like digging. Like even this kid in the window is still like wearing a suit.
I was thinking too. Like, how did it take 5,000 years to come up with the T-shirt? Think about a T-shirt's not that old of a thing. Like you didn't see George Washington rocking a T-shirt,
a graphic tee,
or just like a regular short sleeve T-shirt. Like if you saw people like, what did I watch recently? I watched the show 1883. It's like a prequel to Yellowstone. I've never seen Yellowstone, so I watched 1883. I don't know, but it's like in the middle of the summer. The guy, like the dad's getting changed. And I'm like, he's wearing like a wool pajama set. And they didn't have just a regular T-shirt back then. Just to think about how the smallest, like all the Romans and all of these, I don't know, like the Israelites, the Egyptians, no one thought, let's make this fucking thing shorter and lighter.
The only thing they had that was short sleeve was like iron vests.
Yeah.
And they weren't just like, we got this other cotton nearby.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Oh, is it maybe it was cotton because it was lighter? I guess that's the advent of cotton.
Cotton. When was cotton invented? I feel like that's like 1,000,000 years ago, wasn't it?
Invented.
Cotton sheets?
You're asking the wrong guy. I have the questions. I don't have good theories or explanations. I'm like, yeah, they should figure out this thing to make it lighter. That's all I have to, and then I just sit back.
I can't even imagine what bedding was like in the 1800s.
The 15th century bed sheets were invented, typically made of cotton, linen, or silk.
So the 15th century, they had cotton. Nobody thought, let's make some clothes out of this.
14th century, Columbus was like sleeping on hay, straight up.
he was sleeping outside.
That's why he wanted to come to America. He's like, there's got to be something better to sleep on than this.
That's how. Yeah, that's a whole other like. I can't comprehend. Are you like a fan of history?
I do like history. I do some deep dives.
Some of them, yeah, I try to as well. And I just think like I was trying to like I watched 1883 and I was like, okay, this is 1883. Yeah, it's a long time ago, but like, I wonder what America was like. I don't even like. There's no way to tell because we've erased the history. But like in the 15th century, it was just all Native Americans, right? Isn't that just like I find that shit so wild?
I had
Manhattan.
I had this thought a couple weeks ago of like, you know, when you connect your ancestry in your brain, like even if you did like a 23andMe, or even when you think about where you come from, it goes back to you can think about your great grandfather and have a mental visual because maybe your grandfather told you a story. But then there's like hundreds of other lines that came from, that there's a guy that you descended from who was around in like the 11th century.
100%.
There's a guy there. He was there. You know, what was he doing?
Yeah.
And I wonder where like, what was my people? What was the line that connected to me doing in like the year 300?
I don't know if this isn't interesting to people. To me, it's fascinating. But I saw this thing once, kind of similar to what you're saying. It was like a person it was like this graphic I saw like pop up on YouTube or something, and it said, "You have two parents, right? And each of those parents has two parents. So now we're up to what? We have 4 people or 8 people." And then the more you go up, it becomes like a billion people very quickly. And the guy was saying like back then there wasn't that many people on Earth. So there had to be some crossover. Commingling. So we all might be related somehow far away enough. That's why like we're all brothers and sisters. We're all one. Like, every religion is kind of based on that concept. But you're trying to see what I'm saying? Like if like just because of exponential growth, it happens so fast. There's so many people.
The number gets so big that the actual numbers get so small.
Yeah, it's just such an unfathomable thing for me to even like wrap my head around. But like, yeah, I don't know. I get so disassociated too because I'm like, my mom's one of 11, so like
wow.
I had such a big family that like I knew my grandfather. My grandmother died when I was really young, but my grandfather had like 28 grandkids. So I wasn't that close with him. I don't really, and he died when I was like 20. So like, I don't feel, if I see pictures of my great, I just feel so disconnected with them. It's kind of a sad thing. That'd be good to have a smaller family, but I can't even like comprehend. I see pictures of my ancestors in Sicily and they look like Pocahontas. Like they were like looking Native American. They were very dark skinned. They had very dark hair. And it's like I could see some of my features in that, which is interesting. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how that 23andMe shit works. I don't know how that.
I've never done 23andMe, but it's something that I've kicked around. I wanted to do because like I have my Italian side, which is like my mom's side, which ironically, my mom's Italian and English, and I know very little about the family outside of my grandparents, but like where they came from when they came to America, I know nothing. But then on my Armenian side, which is my other half, which is 100% Armenian.
I didn't know you were Armenian?
Yeah.
All right, Kardashians.
Me, Kardashians, that makes up 83% of us. But I know so much more. Like I know a little bit more about when they came over, why they came over, like what they did, and I can kind of line up like my great grandfather was like a photographer, which is kind of like in the arts, so to speak. But so you feel like your parents shared a lot about your history? Like, do you feel like you are connected to your family line or no?
No. I asked my dad about his childhood. I don't know, Eric. Leave me alone. Just
you don't even know your own.
I don't know. I'm like, Dad, but he won't tell me. That's how you know he has trauma. He won't tell me anything. He just blocks it. That's how guys from Brooklyn are. They just like bury it. Talk about my feelings. I don't remember. Anyway, and he just wants to talk about something else. My mother... She has like a lot. She knows a lot about like her heritage. I saw this great meme one time that was like, my grandparents left Italy for a better life, and all I want to do is move to Italy for a better life.
Yeah.
Just was like we were just talking about how great it was. Like you go there now. I mean, why did they leave? I guess it was Mussolini. I don't know.
Mussolini, but that was like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you do, and you'll see when you go. Right? It's like I don't know. The pastas, everyone's friendly here. The McDonald's are nice. Why would you ever leave?
What's your problem? Great granddad?
The closest thing you can do that here is when people are like still in Canada because of Trump. Like, wait, what the hell did we move up here for?
Yeah,
It was only
2016.
4 years and he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we go back now?
Yeah, right.
They didn't get the
that
memo.
guy's gone. Yeah, because everybody forgets that Italy was on the wrong side of World War II.
Out of all places in the world that got not got away with it, but like you never hear anyone.
Oh, they got away with it.
Yeah, everyone. That's totally water under the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 1945, and they're like, Italy did what? Like it was right.
Yeah.
Let's talk pasta pizza.
That's how you know, like, it's kind of like when someone does something like cancelable, but is on the right side of Hollywood.
yeah.
They don't really get canceled.
Yeah, it's true. If the food is
Kinda
good enough,
Italy, yeah, the food's too good.
the
That's
food's
hilarious.
too good to.
Yeah.
I went to Germany. I went to Berlin, and it was like palpable. That it was like you could still sense like
We'll be right back.
the war in the air. Seriously,
That's wild. Yeah,
because you're looking around and like, I'm thinking like, there's only like these people's grandparents were not doing
they're
good
alive.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
they're alive still.
It was like a sense in the air that did something wasn't right. I mean, that entire city got leveled. I went on a tour of Berlin, which is actually pretty funny, and like the entire tour was like, it looks like a Barnes and Noble, but this used to be the headquarters of like the whole tour was stuff that used to be something.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
I mean,
It's
there's a
all
lot
new
of Jewish
buildings.
people out there that still won't buy Mercedes. And
Sure.
Stuff like that. That's not that long ago, man. Yeah, that's.
Even my grandfather, if he was alive, he'd discourage me going to Japan on this trip.
Oh yeah. What was that? That was just in Mad Men. He refused to do work with a Japanese company.
He would have discouraged me from going. But in his reality, like he served in World War II in the Pacific.
Dude.
So like if you would have told him in 1942 when I think he was in New Guinea, he said that like there's lizards this big, he's getting shot up every day. My grandson's gonna come to Japan for pleasure. He probably been like, fuck this place.
Yeah. I mean, look, yeah. Just like this weird time we are in this world, this country, whatever. It's like there's always a perspective you could, unless it's not being purely hateful. There's a perspective you can understand. I never went to war. I don't know what that's like. So you have to understand, like, to a certain extent. I understand, like, his frame of reference. I'm not saying it's right, but like, that'd be kind of weird to me to be like,
Yeah.
these were the enemy. They were trying to kill me. We were trying to kill them. Now my grandson's just like going there for like, I don't know.
But Grandpa,
anime
the
posters.
sushi. Have you had sushi though?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of it's a beautiful thing. Think about it. It's a beautiful thing that
actually
we're
think it
living in
is-
harmony again. That's kind of what you want.
It's a full circle.
So it is kind of like, which is the Japanese flag?
Harmony.
A circle, a full circle.
Oh, full circle.
Anyway.
There you go.
We'll take the next caller.
So the wedding, we planned. Were you guys always planning for 2022, or did you have any delays? Like we had a little delay. Like we were gonna, I think, get married 2021 or 2020. We had to push it back. But were you always looking
No, ours was
2022?
after. Yeah, I proposed to her 364 days before our wedding.
Oh, you did the classic one
It was-
year.
Oh yeah, I wasn't interested in like waiting. I don't get the people who have 6-year engagements.
But you did the wedding home in Staten Island. Did you have a wedding planner, or did your family take the reins and help out?
No, my family knows I'm too annoying and too outspoken, and I don't do well with any kind of social pressure. I just tell them to go F themselves. We had a wedding coordinator, which was beautiful. Her name was Candace. She was absolutely wonderful. My wife did something very kind of cool. Like, so she really wanted, her dream wedding was to be like married outside, like in California where we were living. But I'm a big anti-destination wedding guy. I'm against them. And I think it's inconvenient for the people going. So unless you had one, I apologize.
No.
But I've been to them. I love the people that had them. I could afford it, but I feel bad for the people. Like, it's just a little bit of a burden. Anyway, so I'm like, we're not going to ask people to go to California. So we found this place on Staten Island that was basically not for weddings. They have like, I've been there. I had my communion there. It's like an outside place with a pavilion. But we brought in like everything. She brought in like a shit ton of flowers, curtains to go around the whole thing. It was beautiful. She did a really, 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 really good job. And people were asking us where we had it because no one's ever seen that place look like that before. Because they usually have like, it's a little like predictable, I guess. They have a kind of the same format there, and no one's really done what we did there. I'm not trying to act like we're so special, but it was just like, just want to do something different. I've been to a million weddings, they're all identical. We had like a smash burger truck, which was
Oh,
fire.
that's fun.
It was fireworks after because it was outside. It was insane. It was really, really cool. And I wanted to just do it quickly, and like I had to go to a million. I know my friends were probably not even Yeah, another wedding. But I was just trying to make it chill. I didn't have we didn't have bridesmaids and groomsmen and all that stuff.
Yeah, we didn't do that either.
I was just trying to make it chill and just relaxing. I don't want it to feel like this weird, I don't know.
It seems like when the wedding planning goes, there's so many. I didn't realize how many when you have like groomsmen or you have like a wedding party. There's all these, as a guest, there's all these giftable opportunities. Like I didn't realize there's like the engagement party thing. There's like a wedding shower. Then you have like a bachelor party.
I'm against all of it.
Yeah, I thought it was too much. Like I did a small bachelor party with like my best friends, and then we had the wedding. And I thought that was like good. I didn't want to have everyone have to sync up for outfits and all that stuff.
No, for sure. I have my brothers be my two best men because they've been. I only have two brothers. That was basically it. My friends were asking about me. I was thinking about doing something, but a lot of people aren't honest with themselves. Like you're not the party animal. Like not you specifically, Jiggy, but I'm saying like talking to my friends. Like, why are you going to Vegas? You don't gamble. You don't drink. You don't cheat on your girl. Why are you going to Vegas? Well, people go to Vegas. Well, I'm not a big. Because people do it, let's do it. Like I know girls who went to like go to like these crazy bachelorettes in Miami. It's like you don't even drink, you don't party,
and then
you don't
they end up just doing chill.
So now
things,
all your girlfriends got a bill for $3,000, and who's enjoying this? It's all for the post to pretend like you're happy. This is so bizarre. Rather just like go at someone's house and hang out. Like that's kind of why I felt weird. My brother, my older brother, he wanted to like do something for me. My bachelor party, I watched the Mets lose a game to get into the playoffs. That was my bachelor party. Yeah, man, on Staten Island especially. Staten Island, everything is, the volume is turned to a 12. So it's like, I can't believe how many events are stretched out from this one life achievement. It's like, you could literally, I've seen girls that I know ride out being married and having children to 6 years of content, reiterating the same thing. Like you can literally see it. Okay, there's the engagement. The night, oh my God, I can't believe it. Even though she can believe it, she planned it. She knew it was happening. She got the nails done that day because she knew it was happening. She told him how to do it. Then there's the next morning. I still can't believe last night wasn't a dream. That's always the next post. Then there's that Thursday, throwback to the best day of my life. Then there's that Monday with all the pictures of the people she had that night. So there's like a month of just that she got engaged. Then after it's all about like, I said yes to the dress, booked the catering hall. It's just like every day. It's like this is the same. And then there's bridal shower, bachelorette, the God knows what else. Oh my God, look how cute my niece's dress she's gonna wear is. They can soak that towel every fucking drop. And then I'm just like, this. Then
the funniest thing is now Facebook makes it very easy for you to recycle that stuff every year on the year. So then that same time you're like, I can't believe this was a dream. It's like every year for the rest of our lives we're gonna get that
can't
recycled.
Believe last year wasn't a dream.
This was 1 year ago.
Yes. Can you believe it was? No one cares. Yeah. I think it's a personal development thing, and I do. My wife has tried to coach me on this because I am judgmental and mean. Because I'm very great. I found what I love in life, and I love my job. Think about how lucky you are to do comedy for a living.
Yeah.
You're really lucky. And a lot of these people, I feel like, aren't really that happy with their jobs and their lives. So this is their way to kind of like, this is their stand-up comedy. This is their way to like feel acceptance and approval from their family and friends. I don't know, but I feel like there's definitely something a therapist could dig into with like, you're still posting your sonogram.
It's only 20 years ago or less that your wedding day or that whole everything you just described, every one of those photos, every one of those moments would go into a dusty foam album.
That's
those foam albums?
Yep, we wanted to get one of those.
There,
they're hard. You can't get them.
It would just stay in there, and then once a year maybe you take it out, or every couple of years. But now it's
and it would also be special then. Like it would be if you saw your wedding photos 12 years later and now you have kids and they're like, oh my God, mommy, look. But like these kids, when you have children now, like, can you believe, look, honey, that's when you and your father got married. Yeah, Mom, I've seen that 1,000 times.
It's still
the
wallpaper
of your
picture.
Yeah. It's in the hallway. It's in the bathroom. I've seen the pic, Mom. So yeah, we're ruining like all of that, with like this, but I get it. I feel bad for people. I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to put anybody down. I just feel like, if that's really important to you, I feel like you need to just like ask yourself why. Why do I feel the need to relive this? I'm huffing this pipe. I'm trying to get high off this exhaust pipe again. It's like maybe there's something going on internally.
Well, I think social media rewards you.
Yeah,
in that
you're right.
Sense, you
And
know,
it's kind of
I
like
think
that loop.
what are you gonna post? Like, and I feel like when you get that like endorphin rush of getting all the likes and comments and people feeling people giving you props,
And you feel like the only way that people are going to like you is if you post, you know, a picture holding your wife's belly on the beach. We did a thing.
I felt that way last year when I started playing softball again, and I posted one picture of me hitting a home run. I'm like, every year I will post this picture, and I will get all the likes.
best day of my life.
Yes,
That's hilarious. But at least that's like something you know. I'm not trying to make this about me or brag in any way, but I proposed to her on stage at a sold-out show at the St. George Theater.
it's awesome.
Which holds almost 2,000 people. It was a big night for me, and I brought her out at the end. No one knew. And not one person congratulated me on selling out the St. George Theater. It was all, congratulations on the wedding. When's the wedding? When's the wedding? I'm like, does anybody want to, like, give me a pat on the back for, like, something that I just did big in my career? No, it was all about the proposal.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't care unless it's the content they want to see. No one cares about your bat flip. They want to see.
It was pretty good. I'm going to show it to you.
I'm sure it was. You don't got to tell me.
Well, I think there's only a few things in life that connect all of us together. It's like having kids. I think finding the one and getting married.
Well, I
maybe
think
buying a house.
I think because they can relate to that.
Yeah, it's the most relatable thing, and so it's the most ubiquitous thing. I think when you fall in love, is everyone hopefully experiences that. You have a child, hopefully everyone who wants that experiences that.
Yeah.
Buying a house, settling down.
Yeah.
So I think people connect to it.
100%. I think that the nugget, the very, very core of these things are wonderful and beautiful. But you just add 2023 and social media to it, and it becomes like a PR stunt. And it becomes like everybody thinks they need to. You ever notice that normal people, they act like they are Jay-Z and Beyonce, as if they need to make an announcement. They need to get a photo shoot to announce that they're pregnant, as if it's like a press release for TMZ.
Those are tough pictures to look at.
But
out of all of them,
it's weird that trend caught on. And it's like when Beyonce revealed her belly and rubbed it, and it was like, oh, I want that. But it's like, yeah, but this is one of the most famous women on earth.
you know who benefited the most out of that is photographers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I wish comedy had an equivalent where like everyone needed something out of a comedian at some point in their life.
That's a good point.
They're like, oh my God, George just shit his pants. Call the comedian. Call the comedian.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I mean, like all the silly jokes I make about this stuff, I'll get messages from venues being like, please. I don't want this to stop. Like I'm charging $25,000 for flowers, you know, and that's the old fashioned thing of like everybody knows. Oh yeah, I'm having a party Saturday. It's for I don't know, it's a retirement party. Okay, $50 a person. Oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna switch it to a wedding. Oh really? $500 a person, just because they can.
Dude, the flowers were insane. I had to look the florist in the eye and go, "Are you fucking with me? Are you fucking with me on these flowers?" Because I go to the deli and I'll get a bouquet of
Trader
flowers.
Joe's.
Trader Joe's got some good. They got a nice products.
Yeah.
You get a bouquet of flowers, you're talking like $10-20 if you're splurging. This florist looked me straight in my eyeballs, and she goes, $15,000 for the flowers. She goes, they're from Miami. I'm like, are they coming here in a Learjet? How are they? What are you fucking talking
These
about?
pit bulls flowers?
Yeah, are they
shit if they're
blessed
from
by the
Miami.
Pope? What are you talking about? $15,000 for flowers? Like, I couldn't believe the flowers was hard for me to digest. I don't think we ended up spending that because I was like, I just can't fucking do it. I don't know what it ended up being, but it was unbelievably expensive.
So this is where I can't find commonality in people. I either feel like I'm too hard, or people just like don't talk about it. But like, don't you feel that weddings have just become like this weird show of wealth?
It's a very bizarre industry.
But no one's ever talking about that. I know normal people with normal jobs whose weddings look at their cost $1 million. I'm like, this doesn't reflect who you are as a human. I don't get it.
It's I think that the wedding industry has been just allowed to just go on its own course of pricing that no one checks, because I feel like it doesn't affect the people who the bride and groom often aren't paying for it. So there's like
I paid for mine.
Yeah, we did ours too. It's like, but there's a disconnect often from the people who are paying for it.
So
like,
I think that's
there's
true.
like one removed.
I think like in a general sense in like America, that's true. But I don't think people outside of this area. Where'd you get married?
Manhattan.
In Manhattan. So
Yeah, it was
people, when my wife was planning it, she was like, your For You page gets to know you real quick. That algorithm knows your soul. So she was just getting wedding planning content. And, you know, some girls like, okay, this is how I booked my wedding on our dream wedding for under our budget. And her budget was like 30 grand. So people in the comments like, where do you live? Like, so outside of this area, it's not as extravagant. They're not as, so I think that is an East Coast cultural problem where it's like normal people who aren't rich want their wedding to look rich. And I think that's weird to me. I'm always like confused by that because like I know my friends, I basically know how much money they make. And I'm like, I don't get this show of pretend wealth because you're not a prince. You're not a princess. So why not save this money? Why not?
I don't get it. And there's some shows, there was a show, a wedding planning show that was based out of Nashville. And I remember when we were starting to like look into planning stuff, we started watching this show. It was on Netflix. And booking and planning a wedding in Nashville was very different than doing it in New York.
Really?
They're like, we have $9,000 budget, and then they're like, well, we can't get a cake, but we can get a donut wall, or like shit like that, you know. But they were like coming up with these big. They had 200-300 people for $9,000. I'm like, I don't know how that would be possible in New York. It'd be impossible.
No, of course not. No, you have to have it in someone's backyard.
You wouldn't be.
I mean, we tried. Eat. We looked at parks. We tried to have it at a park. But just getting like just food would have been like as much as I don't even remember how much it was. It was like I think 30 grand just to get like food there, like caterers to like have all that, and they got to rent silverware, chairs, and all this crazy shit. So it would have been, I mean, it would have been too much money. And also like there's this weird thing in life we do to people where it's like just because someone doesn't do it, they think you can't do it. That's like a fear for people to think that they're not successful. Oh, you think I can't afford it? It's like, well, no, maybe you're just smarter with your money.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, I could afford it, but why would I want to do that? Like to me, that just seems very.
I think weddings are the #1 culprit of that.
Dude, and no one like has a problem with it. People,
no one needs to be done. Someone just has to have a really cool, inexpensive wedding, and then maybe we'll start to percolate in the culture. Where it's like, yeah, I don't know. We just went over. Honestly, my fantasy wedding, if I were to pick one, my wife's fantasy wedding. The first thing she said, I was like, "Well, just tell me what your dream wedding is." Her first comment to me, she goes, "Have you even looked at my Pinterest?" And that was like, I was already fucked from the beginning. She goes, "Did you even look at my Pinterest page?" I'm like,
that's bad. She's comparing to others already. Yeah.
And a Pinterest is just an online database of all the most expensive things that she liked.
100%.
She wanted Enchanted Forest wedding, by the way. She said, "I want an Enchanted Forest." Which is some Disney shit. Like I don't know. I know how to get a forest. I don't know how to.
You know,
that's
that's why my wife is like. She is like my best friend because she agrees wholeheartedly with she wasn't not one of these things that she disagreed with. She wasn't like, I need to have that. Not even a little bit. The only thing that like, what did she, I think the only thing I think she really splurged on was the flowers. And like my dad built us a bunch of shit, which was great. I really wanted to get the a smash burger truck, which was, that was the coolest thing for us.
That's a nightcap, right?
That was there for the cocktail hour. I was like, I want everybody to get half people didn't even know it was there, but yeah. If you're listening to this and you're trying to get married soon, just you don't need this shit, and you're gonna regret it when like you don't even break even. Like that's gotta suck too. It's like, aren't you like trying to like help the future you instead of like I don't know, unless you're not paying for it, then I guess go ahead, bankrupt your parents. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's just so much more we could invest your money in. You know?
That's true. I think I wonder one thing that we were surprised about is the gifting. Did you have any surprises in there?
So typical Staten Island Italian, it's just cash.
Cash all the way down.
That's another thing I learned. My brother got married and he had friends because he works for the federal government, and so when he was in training for his job, he met people from Virginia and Texas and like all over the country, and then some of them came to his wedding and like they gave him like gifts. And they gave
physical gifts like blenders
like
and
a toaster or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he gave him a toaster, but you know, traditional like they give gifts outside of this area. So especially on Staten Island Italians, it's just money.
It's a bag of cash.
I don't think I got anything that wasn't money.
I was surprised, like, and we talk about it like jokingly. It doesn't make a difference to us, but like we've gotten gifts. Like we got a gift like a week ago.
Really?
Like it was like we got married like 7 months ago.
Well, what was the gift?
It was like a.
Can you say? Is it too personal?
No, it was like I think it was like a gift certificate or something.
I got a gift from one of my aunts or something like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
a month or two ago. It was cash, so I'm like, all right.
But yeah, no, once you get it after a month past a wedding, you're like, this is just dinner.
Yeah, my wife and I made some money on our wedding, which is like I think we might have just broken even.
Breaking even, I think that's like cherry. If you break even, we broke even with the honeymoon, which was great.
Wow. Yeah, no. I gotta ask her. I don't remember, but I remember feeling like, yeah, I remember telling her that. Like, I just feel like, yeah, wouldn't you rather get a Tesla? I was like, wouldn't you rather us buy a Tesla?
I don't think the answer is
And
yes.
she was like, of course. So
yeah,
I was like, all right, there you go.
a lot of women want that day. I mean, I don't know. After doing it, it's one of those things that like I think once you do it, then you can sit back and be like, yeah, probably could have done it differently, or I don't know, you could have maybe spent less here or less there. But I'm glad we did it the way we did. I feel good.
Ours was absolutely perfect. I wouldn't have done it any differently because I don't.
And
I don't
we
think it was
both ended up with the gold rings.
I think they're yeah.
Forget about it. I'm so happy I went with the gold one. I got a lot of my friends were like, oh yeah, you gotta get these like.
They're
I said
rubber.
the thick silicone ones. Forget that.
Do you know how many millimeters yours is?
Around like how big?
Thickness. This how I know you're not that into your ring.
Oh, well, I
Who
don't
picked
know.
that out for you? Did your wife?
She picked it out, yeah.
Yeah,
But
there
she
you go.
works in fashion jewelry. I had no idea. I was just like, I want a gold one and then put some rivets on it.
That's hilarious because
Put
I
some
literally I like
fucking
designed
rivets.
mine from scratch. I'm like, okay, here's what I'm thinking. Here's my vision.
Here's my vision.
Yeah.
If you can't get it all, at least give me some. But yeah, I feel like the gold ring is like it is kind of like an '80s thing. It
100%.
reminds
Well, it's
me of
also
like
just
just
like-
classic.
It's 50s, 40s. You were talking about earlier. It's all my uncle Paul had a great. I remember thinking. I always think about him when I think about this one, and he got married. I think 89 or 90, and that just kind of like what I imagine when weddings felt more about love than show.
Sure.
I guess I would feel, you know.
Or and even just it wasn't that long ago where a lot of receptions, especially in the Italian community, you'd have like the reception at your house
Oh hell yeah!
or in the backyard.
If my parents had a big enough yard, I would 100% do that. What also sucks though is like my immediate before I'm even like into friends was 90 people. Before I was even this is just basic aunts and uncles, first cousins. It was 90.
How many people did you have at the wedding?
I don't remember. I think 170.
Oh, that's a good healthy number.
We were aiming to hopefully keep it under 215, and a lot of people said no. I think also,
Really?
yeah, my uncle, who's a doctor, I think maybe was I don't know if he knew it was outside sort of, and this was I think people were still afraid of COVID last. What is it like? Oh, it was like 6
Yeah.
months ago. Didn't come, sent an incredible gift. Now that's what I'm talking about.
That's what you're talking
That's
about.
what now I didn't have to pay for him to be there. And he sent me an incredible gift, and I'm like, "This should be everyone." Hopefully,
That's the best.
that is the best
pinnacle.
case scenario. Most people who didn't come sent a gift, so I'm like,
Listen,
All right.
you send a good gift, you leave a comment on the picture, that's even better.
I don't need any of that
like,
shit.
Let's boost up the engagement.
literally.
Let's do a top five. So we've been doing some top fives in the
Ooh,
show,
what
which
does
I
this
think is
mean?
fun.
I wish you would've prepared me for this.
I want to kind of rattle them off. So,
Yeah.
Mike, I'm going to see if you can bring up a top five. It doesn't have to be precise for this one, but I'm going to try to see what we think. We'll go back and forth, see if we can nail it. We'll see if we can get a consensus on. I want to do top five. Maybe we'll just do our own preferences.
Okay.
So we'll rattle back and forth.
How about I do one based on what you guys have been talking about?
If you want to pull that up, I'm going to do one with him.
Yeah, okay.
On top five, I want your top five Italian American dishes.
Okay, so Italian American. I'm not sure what that means.
Or we'll just go Italian dishes.
Okay, so I think do I go from 5 to 1?
Yeah. Or you can give one, and then I'll give one, and we'll go back and forth.
Okay. Well,
We'll see
my
if we can-
top of all, my favorite is fettuccine alfredo.
fettuccine Alfredo. That really shocks me.
Really?
That's a big spread on quality. You can get
Yeah.
some shit fettuccine Alfredo.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about the shittiest one I've ever had, or my ideal one?
You go into an Italian restaurant in Ohio or New York, fettuccine Alfredo is what you're looking at. That's your number one. Because a lot of people are going to
now I'm
disagree
in Ohio. What am I doing in Ohio?
with you.
Why am I in Ohio?
I dropped you in Ohio.
I've actually one of the best places I've ever had in my life was in Toledo, Ohio. It was an incredible restaurant, or right next to the comedy club. Anyway,
So your number one Italian dish is fettuccine Alfredo?
that's like that's what I get.
Okay.
Usually, if it's made right, or am I thinking of something else? No, man. I love a cheesy sauce.
White sauce.
I put chicken. I love a white sauce. I like getting it with like grilled chicken. This is very American. I don't even know if Italians do this. They definitely don't add chicken. But I'm also trash. So like this could be banging at a great place. This is banging at Chili's.
Okay, fettuccine Alfredo. You're number one. I go
Damn,
chicken parm.
I didn't think I was gonna be chicken parm. You want to talk about a fucking 0 to 10 scale? Are you insane?
Chicken parm, I think, is always good. It's really hard to fuck that up.
That is the craziest
It's
thing.
melted cheese and fried chicken.
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. You have my mom's chicken parm, best in the world. I'll give you that. You had a bad chicken parm, like on a fucking plane.
Where do you get chicken parm on a plane?
I had a lasagna on a plane before. Have you ever had chicken parm at like a shitty restaurant? It's the most rubbery, disgusting thing in the world. How dare you say fettuccine Alfredo has that much of a range?
Fettuccine
Dude,
Alfredo.
chicken parm can be so gross. It could be so gross.
No, I disagree. I think it has less variables than a fettuccine Alfredo.
No, because the shittiest fettuccine Alfredo was like stock, like Applebee's.
I'll give you the biggest variable in all of Italian cooking is meatballs.
Yes.
Meatballs is you can have.
I agree completely.
You can
I
have a
only
bunch
eat my
of
mother's
bullshit.
or Fireflies in Studio City. This place in LA has the best. Has their veal meatballs. They're fucking insane.
So we agree that meatballs shouldn't even be considered on the list because I think it's. I
no,
think
because
a home meatballs,
people probably have 2 meatballs. That's it. Like their grandmas or their aunts or something like that. That's
but
it.
you can have. It's all a bunch of bullshit when it comes to meatballs.
Shit, now I'm
Alfredo,
embarrassed that I
chicken
said
parm.
that. But do you like fettuccine Alfredo?
I used to like fettuccine Alfredo because I used to work in an Italian restaurant, and that was like typically something I could get.
Okay,
And
was it good?
It was fine.
At
yeah.
the Italian restaurant, it was good.
Yeah, but you're
Okay.
eating it's a bowl of cheese soup at the end of the day.
I mean,
you know?
I didn't say I was.
I also don't
elegant.
eat Italian food out hardly because it's the variation of so like
There's
the meatball
a lot
thing.
of-
I went to a really upscale Italian place recently, and there was cinnamon in the meatball. I was like, what the
Go
fuck
fuck
am I
yourself.
eating?
That's a go
That
fuck
you got to
yourself.
do like this and
And I
bang
asked
your
him.
fork on it and leave.
I asked. I said, "Is there cinnamon in the meatball?" And the guy goes, "Oh yes." He said, "Perfect." I go, "No, it is not.
Cinnamon.
It is disgusting."
There's some people who
way.
think that cinnamon goes and everything.
That's
in it.
despicable.
Yeah, cinnamon does definitely not go in meatballs.
No.
All right, fettuccine Alfredo, chicken parm,
Well, the number one thing should be pizza, but
pizza. Sure, I'll put pizza up there. Pizza's in the top 5. Chicken. We'll go. Oh, I'll throw lasagna in there.
I kind of feel the way about meatballs as I do with lasagna.
Bunch of bullshit.
I feel like it's hard to get a really good lasagna. I mean, I like my mom's. I like my dad's mom made a good lasagna. I feel like it depends. It depends where you get it. Now all of a sudden I don't know where the fuck your scale's at. I'm in Ohio. So like if you're in New York or New Jersey and you get the ingredients locally, you get fresh mozzarella from the salumeria. You get the the pasta, the long noodles from a good place, and you have good sauce. It can't be bad. But like if you're having all generic shit in the middle of the country, I would never get lasagna on the road. Are you like?
No, I couldn't get lasagna. I guess to the Ohio example, I think Ohio lasagna's got to be shit.
It's got to be like that.
What about a chicken piccata? I love chicken piccata.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not too big when it's just that's kind of just chicken really.
Chicken, lemony sauce, caper.
It's delicious.
I love capers.
My
capers
mom
out of the
basically
jar.
made that like 2 nights ago when I was staying with her, but like it's good. I feel like it's not Italian enough. It feels like it's like lemony and it's delicious, but it's kind of just chicken.
Okay.
I like when Italian is very much like Mexican. You got to have like it's basically a little pasta with a little noodle and maybe like some sort of maybe crunch from like a breadcrumb or I like when the ingredients come together: cheese, sauce, noodles.
Or you get the last Italian pick.
Fuck.
Could be a sandwich. Shit, we didn't even have prosciutto in this.
Yeah, maybe a sandwich or, I mean, I love penne alla vodka. I mean, you gotta go.
An alla vodka is a good one. That's a good pick.
I mean,
It's
if I'm getting chicken parm or if I'm getting like a chicken parm hero, I'm getting vodka sauce.
I feel like alla vodka is harder to fuck up than fettuccine Alfredo.
Interesting. I would love to know where you get fettuccine Alfredo.
We're going to Ohio.
Okay.
And we're gonna have all these things. And that's where we'll have our scale.
Yeah, it's either that or like I don't know if there's a place Filancino on Staten Island. It's the best Italian sandwich you will ever have in your life. I will put it
Filancino.
against anything. Yeah, Filancino.
I've actually wanted to take a Staten Island culinary adventure
Staten
just
Island
to
is
get sandwiches.
The only reason why Staten Island's not up there is because people like to hate on Staten Island. That's it. People will say this isn't as good just because it's not in Brooklyn because they want to be cool and anti like what's I guess Staten Island's like a red place, so all people love to hate it because it's like conservative. It's the best food in the fucking world.
I think it's the only place in New York that has true
Not
Italian.
in the world. I apologize, like to Paris and shit. But it's the best
But
food.
Italian American delis, it's like the only place that's left in New York.
Staten Island is like the last of the Mohicans for like typical what you envision a New Yorker to be.
Yeah.
You know, like the Mona Lisa Vito or hey, I'm walking over here like that. When you see people like that in the city who work for Con Ed, they live on Staten Island.
Yeah.
Like they're not living in Bushwick.
We're gonna round out the show with a top 5 from Mike, and then we'll call it quits. We'll see if we can guess these.
According to Women's Health magazine, what are the top,
great publication?
What are the top 5 non-cash wedding gifts?
Oh, I love this.
To
okay,
give.
Top 5 non-cash wedding gifts.
This is pretty.
Just literal cash money
So we're
or writing a
gonna-
check.
we're
Anything
gonna
else
guess, he's
is on
gonna
the
tell
board.
us where it's on the list. So
okay, this is pretty broad though. How many guesses
It
do we
is,
get?
and I'll tell you this: the number one thing I think
wait.
is no, I'm not gonna tell you what it is.
okay.
I'm just to give.
I get excited about this.
I want
give
to
us
set
like
the
a- give us-
stage
yeah,
a little
okay.
bit. The number one thing I'd be like, oh, that's a pretty solid gift. Like it's a cool idea.
Okay.
Everything else, I'm like, ugh. Like
Okay.
who would do? Like if I got this, I'd be like, take it back.
These are top 5 non-cash wedding gifts according to Women's Health magazine. I'm gonna go cooking appliance.
I'll give that to you. That's number 2. It is
Pots and
a
pans.
date night cookbook and activities for couples. So it's a cooking related gift.
Cooking related
God,
gift.
this
Okay.
is-
All right. So I got number
if
2.
I got that, yeah, get away from me.
I think that's a pretty good
It's
one.
okay.
Yeah, date night thing. No, I need you to pay my electrical
Give me
bill for
the
a year.
Scott.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
number
gonna
2.
say this is probably not gonna be up there, but is vacuum on there?
No, there's actually no appliances on this list.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that he already threw me off with like the date night thing. That's
Okay.
already not in my wheelhouse of people. I don't know who these women are.
No, they're just
Crystalware.
No,
China.
no, that is not on this list.
Vacation gift certificates.
The number one thing is an Airbnb gift card.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that one's legit. If you get like a big ass Airbnb gift card, like
But
this
the
is
people
great.
we're thinking of, these are going to be like $100. I feel like
Who knows? Yeah, yeah.
All right. So we got number 1 and 2. We got Airbnb vacation gift card, and we have
Cookbook
kitchen,
activity, yeah.
kitchen appliance.
One
Number
of these
3.
is so bad that I would unfamily these people. if they got
Wedding
this for
gifts
me.
that are non-cash.
I mean, 2 of them are pretty.
Some type of jewelry.
No.
Area rug. home decor.
condoms.
Okay. It's not for Catholic weddings, yeah. The number 5 thing is a push pin world map that you put on your wall. So you can push
Wow.
pin all
That's
the
very
places you've been.
specific.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm giving it to you because that is home decor in a sense.
I can't even. My brain would never have went there because
No.
that's what is that $7?
Yeah,
That's a
it's
$7
brutal.
gift. A Roomba.
I said
No
a vacuum.
appliances, no appliances.
That's a vacuum.
That's a remote vacuum. That's like a little
Oh,
dog.
I'm
You
sorry.
think I said no to that?
Yeah, come on. I would have fucking objected to that.
I gave
Judges,
you push
please.
pin world map. The number 3 one is a good one, and the number 4 one is truly
number
disassociate yourself with these
Number
people.
3, some type of framed photo.
I'm gonna give it to you. It's a camera.
Ah,
So it's a camera.
that's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're missing one.
For missing number 4.
I mean, who doesn't have a camera these days, though?
Yeah, but a nice camera, you know.
Yeah, I guess. Photography camera.
For this list, it's probably
list.
a preschool
Yeah, you
Fisher
probably.
Price
Well,
one. A map?
I'm
map,
generalizing a
pushpin
little
map.
bit. They're saying a waterproof GoPro, but I'm
A
going
waterproof
camera.
okay, the most that thing is $300.
Yeah.
Which is a decent one, but I mean, come on. That your iPhone, that's probably just as good.
So you're never gonna get number 4 in a
I'm never gonna
million
get it?
years. But give one shot apiece.
Swim trunks.
a hall pass to have sex with one of the in-laws.
All of that would be better than this. It is a you know those casting kits where you hold your hand, hold hands
That
and
is
put it
so
in, and then you
stupid.
make
Stop.
a hand.
What are we in Lake George?
What type of bullshit list? Would you say this is from like?
Women's Health magazine.
All right,
Dude, if I
you know,
go-
Big Mike, can we get a real list?
Yeah, what
I
type
mean,
of list is this? If I had to carry home a clay set of a fucking mold of my hand,
So to be fair, most of these lists are they're all just linking you back so they can make money.
affiliate.
So these
pages.
affiliate links are a little
Yeah.
bit tough. So like there's another top 5 list
Magic Spoon cereal.
that's like a things remembered, book of all the photos, and then like
So we had that on their photo.
a
list.
wine subscription, an Apple AirTag, a coffee maker. They all vary a little bit, but they're all like attainable enough to buy something.
But these all
that's what lists
perpetuate
are
each
these
other because, like, what ends up happening is you put these top 5 lists of what people are getting, and then when people are looking to gift, they find this list and they just keep buying the same shit.
That would be
So Glamour claims that this is the top things that anybody would be happy to receive as a wedding gift, and so they're saying things like
Cash.
silverware,
That's a good gift.
toaster, kitchenware.
This was literally my list.
Who doesn't own a toaster?
Could you imagine if you're like, I wish I could make
Oh my
toast.
God,
We gotta
finally,
get married.
Grandma, thank
a
you.
water pitcher, towels. You know, so there are the classic things.
Those are
Those are at least usable.
An embroidered
right.
towel? I would take an embroidered towel. New initials.
I'll just take a nice towel. Go to Costco, get me a couple of towels. I'll be cool with
The
that.
towel game is crazy. Like you go to a nice hotel, you don't realize that like a great towel can change your day.
You ever get a Costco towel? Oh my God, Costco has.
They rocking towels.
Oh, they got nice towels. They are thick. They're actually almost too good. They feel like a blanket. It's like I kind of like a cheap towel to soak up the water. This they're so thick. They're like $9, I think.
Really?
Maybe $10. I'm sorry. I'm
Well,
probably.
we're gonna
then
have
you
an
can return
affiliate
them.
link for top 5.
I mean, yeah. Use them and then return them. I think they get a return policy.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Of course,
I
man. I had a
appreciate
great
you
time
coming
with you,
here. I'm
buddy. It's
glad you were
always
in
good to see you.
town. And you want to put your links for socials or where people can find you?
Sure,
for a
yeah. I mean,
tour?
everywhere, ericdelisandro.com for tickets. Eric D'Alessandro is my Instagram as well. I just everywhere is the same thing. I'll be in. Oh my God, I don't even know. I have big shows in with the great Vic DiBattista. We have a couple of co-headlining shows in Jersey, Brooklyn, and then I'm gonna be my own solo shows. I'll be all over the place. Florida, Jersey. I'm doing. I was just East Coast, but I'll be in L.A., San Diego. I don't know. Go on my website and find some dates. Austin. I'm doing all over the place.
Thanks for coming on, man. And as always, like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Make sure you like
Hit
and
that
follow
bell.
the show. Yeah, I don't know if there's a bell in there, but if there is,
I don't know.
fucking
I'm always
do it.
hearing that. There's a bell.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Big thanks to Big Mike. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Mahalo. Deuces. Out.